he now has all of those, so he's not as far out as he was before.
Yeah.
But I miss seeing the bees around. Usually you couldn't even walk through the clover, but there'd be so many bees on it, big stuff. But
Yeah, the rain's kind of put it in.
yeah.
You guys all set? This brings this meeting to order. Thank you all very much for showing. Council, thank you. Vinnie, Pete, thank you. Catherine, and everyone out there in TV land. So we have Councilor Saucier will not be making this evening, although Councilor Jester said he's on his way. He should be showing up late. So let's go ahead and start the meeting. And I will invite everybody to please stand and join me with the Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Let's have a brief moment of silence, please. All right, thank you, folks. So let's move on to number 2, the adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 20th, 2023. Motion from the council, please.
Move we adopt the minutes of the meeting of June 20, 2023.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments, council? Everything looked appropriate? Very well. Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 20th, 2023, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The minutes of the meeting of June 20th, 2023 have been adopted. So with that, we'll move on to number 3, presentations, congratulations, and introductions. Catherine, if you want to start with that, please.
Yes, I would note that the Main Street project had a walkthrough meeting on Friday, last Friday. It was canceled from the previous Friday due to weather, and then of course it was one of the hottest days of the year. However, we had a really good turnout. People were very excited. We had a full complement from the Maine DOT, and we had a representative from the U.S., our federal division of MDOT, which was wonderful. He was very knowledgeable about safety. The engineer, consultant, and the architect had many great ideas. All of the participants were enthused, had good comments, ideas, suggestions. We talked about everything from the turning radiuses and changing items at the light, to signal lights, to the sidewalk, to water, sewer, the RISE grant, and a variety of other items. Ideas were anything from very practical to putting a bicycle lane with walking and other items all together on one or two sides of Main Street, to maybe a little bit not practical of all the buildings being moved back 5 feet on one side of the road. But they were excellent ideas on how to have green space, how to look at the different opportunities of lots that are available or may be available at some time in the downtown, such as the Friends property and some others. So we will be receiving a write-up of the meeting along with sketches and different ideas as soon as the consultant can put that together. There were a couple of comments, items that were new. The consultant indicated that this was not going to be a fast process. Their project would be done next February. That's their due date at the end of February 2024. However, he mentioned that it's been 2 or 3 years for planning before we apply for grants, and I think that Maine DOT is looking at applying for grants sooner than that. We didn't expect a 3-year period of planning and everything. You'd have some, but An excellent comment took place from the Maine Department of Transportation, USA Division. The first time that we have heard that the concrete under the road should be pulverized from a Maine DOT representative or a US one. So that was really good news that they're starting to look at that, because the concrete is in the way of everything. So that was an excellent comment, and the first time they recognized that.
Good.
So it's an excellent meeting, and we will get an update as soon as materials come in to all interested parties, the council, the committee, the staff. We had a really good turnout. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Public hearings, there are none scheduled for this evening, so we shall move on to number 5, reports. We'll start with the council committees, finance committee.
We haven't met.
And okay, very well.
Last-
Ordinance committee? No reports, there we go. Catherine, let's move on to the board committees.
Yes, very good. The planning board held its regular meeting last evening, July 10th at 7 o'clock p.m. It was an excellent meeting. They had a site plan review for, in addition to the storage facility down off what used to be known as South Main Street, now owned by KO Storage from out in Minnesota. They're going to do an upgrade, add in some more units, which are needed because people call all the time looking for storage in the community. So that was a good project. We looked at the 2 rezoning efforts that are ongoing as requests from property owners or interested parties, made a list of items that need to be reviewed on both, including some paperwork that needs to be filed. And so those may or may not go forward. We have recognized that we have a couple of, they're a bit confusing because the properties have been separated, put together, separated, and the numbers changed over the years. So we're going to redo the rezoning or ordinance change form so that it will have more information on it. There was a discussion by the planning board on whether we should require, when a citizen wants an ordinance amendment or they want a zone change, if they should provide all the information rather than staff doing it. And we've always done it, but it's been easier than the 2 that we're looking at now. So I'm not sure if they'll go forward, but it's been an interesting exercise, and we wanted to make sure that if the public wanted to do a project, that they would have an opportunity to work on it and see if they wanted to conclude it. So the next meeting will be in August. We anticipate a subdivision plan for 5 or 6 units out off Route 2 here in town. There was a preliminary proposal at the meeting last evening, so that would come up in August, and maybe a second meeting in August or a meeting in September. Thank you.
Where was that proposed development to?
It would be out by the Cooler Road and the solar project.
On the Pool Road or?
On Route 2,
Route 2.
close to the
Okay,
Cooler
gotcha.
Road. It's a parcel of approximately 20 acres that was purchased by Mr. Ames, Tim Ames.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Let's continue on with your town manager report, please, Catherine.
All right, very good. I'll be brief. You received a short town manager's report underneath all this paper. Right in order. Okay. So basically, the 2022 paving was completed. We did have, because there were questions out on the Beans Corner Road, we thought it was fine, but it became rather intense, so I requested that we have an engineering firm go out and check the road, which was good because that did resolve everything. Core samples in the engineering review showed that the road pavement did meet the requirements of the bid specifications, which are based upon the main DOT standards, the large book that they have. There was a large crack on Webb Road, which was just completed by the paving contractor last week, so the retainage check was issued. And on to 2023 paving. The paving company that was awarded the work is working on the notice of award, and we'll set up a meeting with the Public Works Director to go over the final road list. So that's something that we'll be working on and providing to the town council to look over. Public Works truck, the first Public Works truck arrived on time from O'Connor, and the loan paperwork for the second truck has just been signed this evening and will be going back, so we can take care of that one. The airport hangar and the taxiway project. The airport hangar project is nearly complete. They're a little delayed due to the electrical work, but we do need a easement, which requires the council signature, and this is the first meeting it would be available. And luckily, this did work out well, because we would have approved, they've sent like several versions of the easement, so we would have approved the wrong one if we had had a meeting earlier and have to substitute it. So we have the correct easement from CMP. I've already talked about the Maine DOT Planning Initiative, which is the Main Street project. We received FAA reimbursements for the airport taxiway and hangar grants in July, and now there'll be a delay because we do certain percentages of the overall project, so you start getting less money back until it's closed out, which will be a while on these projects. For code enforcement, Al Tempesta continues to process permits on Friday. It's slowed down a little bit, which is good for him. We try to line up all his work and get his letters and everything in order so he can come in and just focus on the customers. And so we put together a package on the Webb Road code violation. The town attorney thought that they would process that next week, but it's already processed and scheduled for court in August. So that's just the lawyer will go to that. It's just the beginning process. It doesn't require anyone else at that point. The property on June Court was reviewed. We have the photographs. There's nobody living there from what we can tell. And the letters have come back from the town from other things. So we'll have to do a little research there. But we will do a violation letter. The leak at the car wash was repaired. There were several excavations done by the owner, but that was completed, and the neighbors are very pleased that that's done. Financial system, water and sewer billing. We sent out 5 books of bills and are up current and headed back to books 1 and 2. And meanwhile, any meters that we see a malfunction on, because the meters are getting older, so that is an issue, we're keeping track of those, and once they malfunction twice, we're giving them to all of our associates to go out. Either they're tested, depending on what's going on, or they're just replaced. We're now at year 12 or 13, depending on when we bought the meters. Originally, we were told the meters would last about 20 years, but what Oliver has seen from several towns that they're in is that the meters are 12 years to 14 years. So we're at that point now. So we'll be talking with Oliver about the projects for the future, and one is what should we look at for meters? Should we continue with the same ones? I suspect we will, but we would need to schedule in as a capital project the purchase of the meters to replace them over time. The customer confidence report, the CCR report, went out on the water system. I provided some information. People were interested, counselors and others, on the testing that's done. And we did get a report from Annalise regarding the testing for lead. Library director interviews. Second interviews are being confirmed. One of the candidates of the 2 finalists that we have so far was unable to meet until the end of July due to prior commitment. So we're scheduling the meetings now. We also have a new candidate that's just moved to Maine that will be interviewed tomorrow. Fox News comes to town on Friday, July 14th. They're going to broadcast live from the community. So we meander around, and so we're lining up stories for them of interesting items, and they'll choose which ones they want. The Federal Aviation Administration will be down for what's called a review of the 501 form, and this is a lengthy form with about 110 items on it about the airport that the pilots look at, the FAA looks at, and it also will have items that are not in compliance with the federal law. And usually we don't have any except for the obstruction issue, which we work on constantly. So the main focus for the month is in the federal, state, and town requirements, tax collection, water and sewer billing, payment of bills, general assistance, and many requests for materials, as well as providing support to the code enforcement officer and the planning board for myself. And then the staff concentrates on the counter, which is extremely busy, and all of our customers. We have some upcoming concerts. The first one was very successful, so we will be having more scheduled each Thursday. So we encourage people to go to those. Thank you so much.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much. That will wrap up the reports. There is no new old business this evening, so let's move on to new business. Number 7, Catherine, if you would please, resolution 23-59.
Yes, thank you. Resolution 23-59. Resolved that the town council approve the request for purchase of the WatchGuard server, specific and unique to the WatchGuard body camera system, in the amount of $8,625 to be transferred and expended from PIT number 55, Police Station Reserve, G165900.
Look for a motion to council, please.
Now I move we open discussion on resolution 23-59.
Second. Move in second. Thank you, gentlemen. So before we get into it, I'll yield the floor to Chief Morris. Going to give us a brief overview of that, please.
Brief overview. The WatchGuard system, basically it's a camera system that's installed in our vehicles, as well as the officers can wear a camera on them, a body camera, while they go into calls. This system is always recording while they go into a call, even if they don't have a machine on them, it's always recording. It's actually helped solve quite a few crimes, but they continue to report. It's also one of those things that is good for officer complaints, or to substantiate the complaint, or find it unsubstantiated. Just depends. But it is that angle that basically one view of one perspective of what's actually going on at the time. As you know, police departments nationwide, they're all going to body cams, car cams, and that's just the way of the future and the way the world is right now. Most discovery cases that come through the DA's office and the attorneys, they want to see a recording of something. Whether it's, in fact, we're mandated to record interviews with people with felonies and other crimes. I'm mandated. This is law. We have to record the interviews if possible, right? So this would take that place as well. So it's an expensive endeavor. I know we've already started it. We got the equipment from last year, and it's just sitting in an office right now, kind of just gathering dust. Can't do anything with it until we get the server and get our infrastructure in place for it. So.
All right, thank you, Chief. Counsel, any questions on this?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill, please.
Yeah. What would be, assuming we approve it and get the server? This is just a server to capture the recordings, correct?
Yeah, it's a server, the maintenance, and I chose.
Yeah, I saw first.
And I chose the cloud server.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have to continue to update the hardware, because, as you guys know, with time, equipment goes down and video becomes bigger, and then you have that problem with storage later on. So that's going to help solve that issue. And this is one of those things where it's almost a no-brainer. The officer drives up to the building. There's an external system that just downloads it right to the car as soon as you pull in.
So it'll download directly to the cloud?
Download it directly to the cloud, through the PD to the cloud.
Okay. And what is is there a certain management of the system? In other words, are these going to be reviewed, say, for a certain amount of time, or?
Well, most recordings, it just really depends. I mean, there's a policy already in place. It's a pretty standard body cam policy on how long You have to keep the videos. And once you have them, you have to submit them as evidence. You don't have a choice. At that point, they have to go. So.
Okay. So we've got the equipment to do the recording, but no way to store it right now? Is that it?
No way to store it and use it, because you got to have the operating system to actually even to view it, and that's all part of the proposal that has the certificates and all that information that allows us to even to access it.
So what would be what's the time frame from the time we say get it and that it's be up and running? What's the training involved for anybody?
The training, yeah, there's a lot of training involved in this. I mean, luckily for me, I have a little bit of experience with it because this is what I used at my prior place. But yeah, it is a learning curve on how to actually use it. You have to turn it on and make sure you turn it off. But I joke. It is kind of that easy when it comes to the actual operation of the camera system. This is going to be a lot easier when downloading, because, like I said, it's going to automatically upload into the server, in which an officer can get on a computer and find it on the server, download the video to the case, and then that will be uploaded into shared file, or the DA's office just has access right from the cloud. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do just yet on that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Brian. Once something's downloaded, what's it take if you have capability of somebody to wipe it out?
That's why it's on the cloud, because they keep it.
You can't get that.
I mean, I'm sure someplace could get into it, which has happened before. But that's the beauty of having it on the cloud, because we don't have the IT here in the town to have a good security system when it comes to that. So having it in the cloud, you have people very, very smart managing the systems and keeping up with the current viruses and people trying to bombard the servers, trying to get in there. They're able to do that. So there's no way we would have those kind of resources here.
Yeah, if I understand it, it always saves the original. Any attempted doctorate would just save an additional file, not
It
not
shows
copy
it's
or
been
alter
altered.
it. Yeah,
And anytime you do it, it becomes a dated timestamp
yeah.
on anything. So.
Wasn't this discussed in our budget conversation last year? Because there had to be a separate server specifically for. So was this not funded already?
Well,
Outside of the
actually,
general fund?
it's going to be transferred from
Reserve, but wasn't that? I thought that was funded.
It
That's what
wasn't
it
a
was.
full fund from what I saw.
Okay.
What was allocated from last year, it was short.
There was a partial.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the server, when he got the rebid of the new pricing was higher.
Of course.
Yeah. In fact, it was when I requoted here recently, because the first quote I got expired in, May, and then I went to requote again, and it was actually 20% higher. And I told him, I said, forget it, I'll just sell what I have. And he went back to the original quote. So.
Right. I mean, this is important to protect our officers as well as our citizens, right? I mean,
Yeah, and it's for liability as well.
Right.
Checks and balances. So.
I mean, yeah, we need that. That's absolutely. I think that's like you said, in this day and age, it's important to have that. So,
Council, anything else? So, just one quick question. You don't have to say.
I do it, that's just what I do.
So with this system, there's no legal obligation that you as the police department has to keep those cameras. I mean, it's for your own protection and citizens' protection.
Right, the legal obligation we have is to record certain crimes for interviews. We just absolutely have to. Unless there's some extenuating circumstance, we're in the woods and we don't have that ability.
So that obligation of recording, you said felonies or interviews as such, has that been a recent?
I can't remember the year that law came out, but it's been several years.
Okay.
So what have you done up to this point?
Digital recorders and the department issued cell phones.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of it's not the best, but it's what we got. And those fail, and sometimes they don't work when you want them to work. The batteries are dead because you haven't used it in several weeks, or you're out of cell service. It's just one of those things. These things are, they're built for commercial use. The things that I've been implementing as to get us by are not commercial use.
Right, okay. Thank you, Chief. Anything else, Council? Eric, feel free to jump in. Any questions, comments for Chief?
Can't hear.
Yeah, this is the issue with the upgrade that went through a few minutes before the meeting. You can't get around it. Everything tests out fine, but you can't hear some things.
All right. Eric, can you hear us at all? Well, unfortunately, technology is holding us at bay once again. So if we were able to hear back from Councilor Saucier, we would poll the council one by one so that he has the opportunity to speak. But I guess until he has the audio capabilities, if there's nothing else from the council for Chief? All right, very well. We'll go to a vote. All those in favor of Resolution 23-59, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-59 passes. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your time. Catherine, let's move on to Resolution 23-60.
Resolution 23-60, resolve that the town council authorize the town manager to execute the agreement for the town of Pittsfield water and wastewater contract operation services with Oliver Associates for a 2-year period for the renewal contract term at the monthly lump sum fee of $15,000 beginning August 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 with an increase of $15,500 effective January 1, 2024. Such agreement to be for the operation of the town's water supply and distribution system and wastewater treatment plant and sewer collection system with pump stations including contract operations, labor services.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Look for a motion from the council, please.
Move we open discussion on resolution 23-60.
Second.
Moving and second. Thank you, gentlemen. So questions or comments, council, on this? So I will start. How does that compare to last year's?
Yes, the price is...
The last contract was?
Yes, the contract language is all the same except that in the contract it stated like the initial year. So anything just says this year. So there's a few minor changes. The price was $15,000 for the 2-year period. There was an increase that could have gone into effect in 2023, which they actually tabled, and now it's going into effect for 2024. It's 3.34%.
And that's the $500 difference?
Yes, that would be correct.
What does that offer the town? What are their commitments to us for that?
All right, so their commitments are to operate as the wastewater operator certified and water operator certified to run both of the services of the town and to be responsible for them to run properly, complete all paperwork, work on all engineering projects in the beginning until it becomes a separate contract. Meet with DEP and basically operate the system and make enhancements to it, which has taken place. Now, if there's an issue, rather than in the past, the employees would have to go out and hire an engineer and find other help. Oliver just calls in other staff members with expertise in areas, such as when we had a water leak someplace. There's a gentleman who works for one of the districts that they run, who's very good with that, so he was called in. And then when we had the Main Street walk, another individual was called in. So they will call in different staff members.
Okay. Does this contract guarantee us a certain amount of labor from their end.
Yes, and if there is work on the weekend, there also is, we're not charged any extra. They would have the cost of the overtime too, so. And they do go out on the weekend, in addition to the regular testing. If there's breaks, they work side by side with the town staff.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, like everybody, they're probably having difficulties hiring. I know they've mentioned that a few times.
Yes.
Have they met the obligation of labor for us over the last year or so?
Yes, they've had to hire several people, but yes, they have.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Anything else, council? Very well, hearing none, our sense ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 23-60, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 23-60 passes. You can give in at least a call after the meeting, Captain. So let's move on to resolution 23-61, please.
Yeah, if we have a number for Eric, I can try to call him. I tried to call Annalise earlier and I couldn't, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, let me know.
Amy said she's able to hear on view-only mode. So I'll get that.
I think Eric knows that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't see well.
I don't think he wants to join that then.
Well, he was persistent there for a minute or two.
And what's nice is we can say whatever we want, you can't hear us.
Well, I just, if you wanted the opportunity, that's what you want.
This is the second time an upgrade has gone in just before the meeting. There wasn't any during the day when I turned it on earlier, but it seems to be a Tuesday thing. So let's call Eric, see if this will work. And we can call.
I just forwarded the full screen.
Don't click.
The subscriber you have, please. He's worried about that.
It's not a voice
Extends the entire warranty. Hello?
Hi, Eric. This is Catherine from the meeting. We had a Zoom upgrade that went through automatically right before the meeting, and it knocked out quite a bit. Although it looks fine in the program, some people can't hear. So we can hook you in through the telephone, and you can talk when you want to, if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, as long as I can hear, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear now?
Yep.
Okay, we'll talk up.
All right, welcome aboard, Eric. So, Catherine, let's go ahead to resolution 23-61, please.
Resolution 23-61, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager and assessor to seek bids for the update of the Pittsfield tax maps and to have the authority to accept a bid in accordance with the town's regulations.
Looking for a motion from the council, please.
Move we open discussion on resolution 23-61.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. This is to go out for bid in accordance with town's regulations. No obligations other than that. Any questions or comments from the council? Yes, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the tax assessor already under contract. There's no way we can just amend like his current contract to add this to it, because we really don't want anybody else doing this. He's got all the markups. He knows all about it. Why would we go out to bid to, say, some engineering firm that doesn't know the town, doesn't know any of these markups? If anybody knows the condition of, the maps upstairs, they're in pretty bad shape. He's obviously familiar with them. They deal with them all the time. I don't know why we wouldn't just maybe amend either his current contract or sole source it to him. Well, I wouldn't think it would need to go out to bid. He's our tax assessor, and it's tax maps. I think you could just work something that doesn't go out to
The
bid.
thing is, though, it's out of the scope of his original contract.
I know that, but you make amendments to scopes all the time. We've done it to...
Right, but if we just give him an amendment to his contract, that would have to go through waiving the bid process, correct? Catherine?
We would be waiving the bid, yes, that's correct.
And that would be,
We-
that would be another matter we'd have to vote on.
We do amendments to the airport stuff every other week.
Right, understood, but that's not one of the actions on here tonight. I guess, we could,
Sometimes when you put things out bid, just keep everybody honest. And then you got something to reflect on. You got what he wants for it, and you see what the other guys will get. Kind of keeps checks and balance.
So in the past, we would take the maps, the assessor who had the same contract, and then the next assessor who had the same contract would just take the maps to a company after calling around. It wasn't that expensive, but we do have multiple years now. Now the question has come up because this is just to upgrade the tax maps, and we know where the Mylars are. This is not to digitize it, which is a huge project. And one I would think we need to, put in the budget.
Right, I know that.
Okay.
Right, but he's got the markups upstairs, he's got the Mylars. I don't know why he wouldn't just do it for an additional cost and then we keep it here in town and we don't sub it out to say, I don't know, somebody else.
So
well, here's another option though. We can keep this on board here and go out for bids, as Brent said, to keep everyone honest. And if we find out that it's completely out of left field, it's not even beyond what we can do, we can always say, no, we don't want to do that. I mean, this is just what
Right, but
pricing, and we can certainly invite him to do the same.
My thought was based on kind of how we operate, somebody comes in with a low ball and they're not reputable, they don't know what they're doing, whatever. And then we have to go to them because they were the low bid.
Well, no, we're not obligated to take the
We
low
would
bid.
research.
Well, yeah, I know we've done it in the past, but typically we take the low bid.
Right. But it's something like that, we would certainly have that
Okay.
discussion. I'm sure the assessor would be interested in maintaining that kind of control. I mean,
Sure.
I guess the bottom line is doing this is not going to cost us money yet until we make a decision to do so. And as Brent mentioned, I have no idea what it costs. It may give us a good idea what the ballpark figure would be. And he may say, look, I can do it for this.
Right. Okay.
If you want to amend the contract, we can renegotiate and I can do it for 10% less, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, this was just my first attempt. I couldn't find any bid specifications.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, I'm good.
Catherine, do you know when the maps were last updated?
2014, 2015.
So 8 years ago?
Yes. Now, there were 3 years when there was hardly any development or splits, but now there's starting to be some. I think that the main item is that we need to get copies that are left in the press book to secure them. Somebody took them out and they got ripped a bit.
So, who usually does this? Did our previous tax assessor do the updates in 2014?
No, he took it to, both of them took it to an expert. The last person that they went to is Aerial Survey in Norwich Walk. But now there are some firms that no longer do the drawing on the maps. They went to digital, so we may find everybody does digital.
So, when you mention cost of money to digitize, I understand that you're talking about, now what are your reference by digitizing? We talk about something that is done on computer and manipulated on computer?
That would be a whole digitization.
I mean, is that what you're referring to?
We would prefer just to get the maps updated.
No, I understand, map and then scan it and have it in PDF.
Yes.
To me, for our state right now, that's what I would call digital. I know there are more interactive things you click on it.
Yeah.
We do tax
They put it on CAD.
number, yeah.
We do have a dummy PDF online right now.
Right.
You can print that out.
Do we?
But it's, yeah. What she's talking about is the real.
Right.
That's something
So-
we would budget for later.
Let me ask your opinion, Jason, because you're kind of involved with this. Is there any need that the town has to have that kind of digitized map?
Oh,
I mean, the desire is there, but
That's
is there a need right now?
No.
Can we not operate without it?
Well, you're talking,
Digitizing.
well, you just mentioned two different ways. I guess the cheap way, I would say, yes, we need to do this.
Oh yeah, understood. Okay, but
Not,
the
we don't have
21st
to,
century
we don't have to
aspect
make it in
have it
AutoCAD.
on CAD, and
We don't have to convert it to that point
Okay,
yet.
good.
I mean, it would be great, but it's not costing.
Right, that's what I mean. The
Desire
desire is there,
priority
absolutely.
and all that stuff. But we do need to digitize it and get these updated. Like he said, it was, or Catherine said, 8 years, and typically I think it's only like 2 or 3 years that they
Yeah,
usually
usually
get.
2 or 3.
You know, so they're quite old.
Catherine, do you recall how much it was last time it was done?
Well, no, this was back in 2014, 15, it was $600. It was usually $400 to $600 a year.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering if this is even something that reaches, if it's a project that reaches the threshold of having to bid out. Don't we have regulations as far as like if a project is over a certain size, then you would bid it out, or?
All right.
Well, right now, I don't know if we know how much
We
it
don't,
would be.
we don't know, see, they're outdated. It may be that there's no firm that does the drawing ones anymore. I expect there is, but there may not be. It may just be the assessor can do it. We'll find out.
Well, I think we should just put it out to bid, invite the assessor to bid on it, and then I like Brent's take on it, that we get a lot of different ideas and evaluations for that.
You find
see
out
where,
things.
where it sits. My suggestion, though, I think in here you said that there was one large copy for the assessor's office. One set of updated tax maps, one full set of full-size paper tax maps. I'd like to see that changed to 2 so that there can be a full-size one out for the public, and then have one for the office behind the scenes. And I think we should get them all laminated. You know, if the public's going to have them out there, they can laminate them, and then they're a little more durable for that. Because it is handy to be able to kind of look at the entire map and not look at like an 8 by 10 or 8 by 11.
You know, the possibility is if we get these done, whether they come, I'm sure they'll have it done on PDF and we have it printed any size we want. Once we have the one set for the assessor, and then we can, there are a number of printing places, one in Bangor, we can have it quoted, have it paid for, have them all set, have them all laminated. Or at least the plastic coatings, they can at least kind of fold and
Yeah,
roll.
Staples will even do it for you.
Because you're getting a digital file anyway.
Architectural
So
Right,
plans and
you can go to Kelly's Printing or wherever.
Yeah, and then for the ones that we have now, I think it's mostly the edges that are all tattered. You can probably tape the edges, and that would be like a stopgap measure to kind of do a little preservation work while we're.
Right, that's certainly a discussion we can have after we accept going out for bids. Anything else, council, on going out for bid?
Well, I would just, no, we're good. Yeah, it's fine.
Good. Eric, anything?
No, I'm on board with going up to bid on this.
Okay. All right, since we have council that is coming in Zoom or phone, what we will do is make sure everyone has voice heard is all the council. Yep.
He can't vote.
You have to
You have to be able to see him.
Oh,
So we don't have to do that.
We can listen to him.
We treat him like he's not here.
so Eric, you can listen and talk, but you're certainly persona non grata per the charter. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I open my Zoom up and you can hear my audio through my phone.
Yep. We have to see your face.
Hold on just a second. I'll look there, appreciate it.
Okay, so if you can do it in the next second or two, we'll do that. But let me go ahead and vote on this unless you had something that you really wanted to discuss
I'll just do him last.
I'm pretty passionate about it.
on this topic. Okay. See, this is why we need to see your face. All right, council. So hearing none, I feel that we're ready to vote. All those in favor of Resolution 23-61, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-61 passes. So Catherine, let's move on to Resolution 23-62, please.
Resolution 23-62, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to execute an easement for Central Maine Power Company for the line extension at the Pittsfield Municipal Airport for the new town hangar.
Look for a motion to council, please.
Move we adopt resolution 23-62.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions or comments, council?
Is there a map that shows where this easement is and what's going on with it?
This is a typical easement language and setup.
There you are, Eric. Now you're voting.
And I just don't know, like, where we're at. I mean, I know what it said. It says,
So we're on pole 3.5 on Wright Street.
which doesn't exist anymore, but that's okay, I guess.
Well,
They
the
changed
CMP
the
has a way
numbers.
of naming their own streets, because I live on Pondview Court, they call it Pond Street.
No, I know, but Wright Street
They're
doesn't.
doing the thing.
It's Chester Street. There is no Wright Street.
I understand, but they're still using my old, I can't call in on Lincoln Street and get any service.
Oh.
I have to call in on time, it's just the way they do this.
So they're referring to
It's an easement in gross,
a deed in October 3rd, 1893.
and I did find it.
So this is town-owned land?
Yes. The town has several hundred acres at the airport. So this is an easement in gross.
Yes. I just don't know when it is.
So I'd be kind of curious just to see that on the map also. I mean, especially if they're referring to a street that no longer exists.
Well, the street is you know where the right.
Yeah.
Right, however, we're voting on an easement that calls out a street that no longer exists. I mean, we all know, but not everyone would necessarily know, and, you know, I deal with this as part of my business, and there are legitimate questions from landowners as where is this easement going to go?
Like what's pole 3.5 and 3.6?
Those are literally the poll numbers. But
I don't know where they are. I didn't go walk that path, I guess, but.
Yeah, honestly, Catherine, I would rather have some kind of map or more indication from Central Maine Power on this before I would vote for it. I mean, we
And
can,
we're not going to get one.
well, they need to provide something because if they want us to approve an easement, we're kind of blind on.
Do you have any idea where those poles are, Kath? Like if you saw an aerial view?
They've changed the poll number several times now and told us that they're correct now. This is version 4, I believe.
Moving target.
I'm sorry.
Pick with anyone.
Don't just poles have the metal tags or the stamp number and all
Yes.
that on it in?
Yes. However, they're still referring to Wright Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not going to vote for this because I don't know where that is or exactly what they're looking for the easement.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable voting for it. I know the idea behind easements, and I understand that they're usually not a big deal, but I've also seen this problems with it, so it hasn't been clearly defined, especially on a document that referring to a deed from 1893 or in a street that's not necessarily in existence anymore or under a different name.
So CMP requires that you provide the first where the horse race track was, that's part of what the airport is. So we honed in on that deed and didn't find it. What I can do, because if we're having one meeting a month, this will hold up the process of putting in the electricity and getting the contractor gone for the property and closing off the grant. We could make this subject to a drawing that the airport engineer puts together for no further cost to get this going.
Well, I feel comfortable seeing something in writing that we can identify.
We can have them identify it. We're not going to get a map from CMP.
It's something we are requesting, not CMP.
Correct.
All right.
This question has come up before. They always put in that the easements are in gross. When the town does an easement for properties with water and sewer, we don't define it either. We just agree with the property owner where it's going to go, but we're not CMP either.
Yep. Anything else, Council? All right, hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. I shall go through the polling now. We have Council Sauce here, his pretty face and his lovely lilting voice.
Mike,
Yes.
I'm sorry, are we amending this to request the airport engineer, as Catherine suggested?
No, there's no amendment that's been made.
Do we need to do that in order for it to pass? Because it sounds like we're going to be holding up.
Or we can look for a motion just to table it until we do get that.
That's still.
I mean, if we vote no on this, we're gonna need to have that information, so that question will have to be asked anyway. Because we can't let this go, apparently, we need to have this easement in place from CMP.
If you vote no on it, at the next meeting, you would have to bring it back and have a complicated revisit to it. So it's better if you do not want to approve it, to table it, and then we'll have a month's delay or whatever the meeting's going to be in August for the airport project, and we would prefer to get the airport contractor going here.
Right. And if we make an amendment based on getting a map, we'd have to have that map the next time anyway.
Right, but we could approve this pending the map, and then would we require that the map comes to us at a meeting, or could the airport engineer generate it and then Catherine give it to us?
Well, if the map comes back and the council or councilors aren't satisfied with it, then there's a tentative yes based on a map that they didn't originally see and they don't agree with when they do see it. I mean, it's a possibility. It's likely that wouldn't happen, but I would try to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, we could certainly table this and then ask Catherine direction to contact the airport engineer, come up with some kind of diagram, go to Google Maps and draw something up, make a map and call it good. I mean, that would be more than sufficient. I mean, it would satisfy me, know exactly where it is and where it's going onto what property. If it's town owned, then it's all up to us.
But we would hold up the project if we do that.
Catherine,
Pardon?
will that hold up the project if we wait till the next meeting?
Yes.
This is all covering town property, it's not going across private property to
No.
get to the town property.
No, it'll be an easement for a line that will be underground.
But on whose property?
The town's property.
All town
Yes.
property?
Yep. The town owns over 300 acres there.
Oh, I know, but
Well, it depends where it, you could screw yourself down the road if you wanted to sell a bunch of land, or you wanted to, and that easement goes right through it.
Unfortunately,
Then
the
you-
town can't sell the land unless we pay back all the grants, so we're sort of
Yeah.
stuck with this situation of 300 acres,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I mean, we've done the maps for all these hangars. It should have been as simple as one of those, which is just a hand-drawn sketch, more or less.
If it's all on town property and it's not property that we're gonna be able to dispose of at any point in time, even if there's an easement on there, you could still, in theory, sell off a piece of property, the easement goes with it, it's not like the easement goes away, and if it's underground, it would be just as simple as having DigSafe come in and, no different than having a water or sewer pipe there, you would make sure that you're not digging where there's infrastructure, so I don't have a problem with this. If it's all identified as town property, it's not impacting a private property owner or a butter, then I don't have an issue with it.
I don't know if it's impacting the butter or not.
Well, we can't give an easement on property.
Well, if it's on town property, and the easement's just for the town property, it's, the abutter
But prove that.
is,
If we don't know where it is, they can't prove it. How do we know it's 100% on town property? I would say until they provide better information, we can't move forward. I mean, just,
you'd be-
what do we do? Just make a motion to table it until?
Well, so, it's all valid points, I understand what everyone's saying. Is there a possibility, Catherine, so that we don't hold this up, once we get a map, could we adjourn, meeting just to discuss this? 10 minutes, call a meeting, vote on this, and adjourn and move on.
Do you want to do a Zoom meeting?
Can we do a Zoom meeting and approve this legally? Move on this resolution?
I believe so, we'll double check the ordinance, but we should be able to.
Would that be adequate with the council?
That way, everybody wouldn't be interrupted if they're on vacation.
I mean, we would have the information we require, and I understand your point, Craig, and I understand your point, Heather, and I mean, they're both very valid. I'm kind of in the middle on this, so is that acceptable to the council? Catherine will ask the town engineer for a map of some type so we can clearly define it and show property lines that it is indeed on town property. And if, it shouldn't affect an abutter if it is on the property. The abutter is a non-entity based on that.
We can't approve an easement on somebody else's property,
Right.
it has to be on our property.
Right. So is that acceptable to everybody? So what I would suggest, based on that suggestion, if we table this to a meeting to be named in the very near future,
That sounds fine.
sound good, folks? So do we need to rescind the motion and make another motion for tabling?
Either, or you can amend the motion, or,
Okay, Doc, did you make that motion
I
originally?
made the motion.
You want to amend it, say table it for next meeting?
Sure. Actually, just looking ahead, does this apply to 2363 also?
Oh,
Is 2363 related to that easement?
That's a waiver of allocation for my extension.
it is, but it isn't. It's an issue dealing with the monies that will be coming in from the people that hook into our extension. We're waiving the requirement of the airport people, the hangar people, to pay the town back because, one, it will cost them more, but two, any revenue we get from this project before the grants are closed out and even after and something like this goes back to the federal government.
Okay. So bottom line is unrelated to it, so we can
Okay.
discuss that when it comes up next.
Okay, I would, Resolution 23-62, I would make a motion that we table Resolution 23-62 at this time.
Sorry.
Moved and seconded. I would like to stipulate, based upon the request of the council for the town manager to approach the airport engineer, procure some type of map
so that it clearly denotes lines and property lines so that we can understand where it is and where it's going to start and end. Anything else, council, based on that revised motion? All right, I will poll the council. Eric? Aye, yea or nay?
Yay.
Jason?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doc?
Aye.
Brent?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. You did say nay, Eric?
Aye.
Said aye. Okay, very good. So ayes have it. Resolution 23-62 as amended to table based on follow-up meeting with information gathered by the town manager passes. Thank you all very much. Good debate. So Catherine, let's move on to resolution 23-63, please.
Resolution 23-63, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to execute the waiver of reallocation for the line extension at the Pittsfield Municipal Airport for the new town hangar.
Look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion that we accept resolution 23-63.
Moved and seconded. Catherine, could you reiterate what you mentioned for the status of that?
Yes, the town has an extension that's taking place paid for by the federal grant. Any of the new hangar owners or developers of the lots that we're leasing at the facility that hook into this line extension, which will be a whole line, would have to pay part of the cost back to the town. Now, in reality, in a regular environment without grants, that sounds pretty good. But any revenue that we get at the airport for something like this has been paid for by a grant has to be sent back to the federal government. So I would suggest that we authorize the town manager to sign the waiver of reallocation so the funds would not come back to the town. This is a bookkeeping and a lot of paperwork, but also it will make the cost for the project of the people developing the hangars, which is already very expensive, higher. And we'll also have to send all the funds back to the federal government.
If we don't approve this.
Correct.
Questions, comments, council? All right, very well, hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote, and I shall poll the council. We'll start with Eric, yea or nay?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doc?
Aye.
Brent?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it, resolution 23-63 passes. So with that, let's move on to resolution 23-64, please, Catherine.
Resolution 23-64, resolved that the town council approve the request for proposals for the public works group and authorize the town manager and public works foreman to seek bids for same.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Move we approve resolution 23-64.
Second.
Moving second, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on this? Anything particularly you need to add other than what's written here? Is this a basic proposal? Have we used this proposal before? This RFP?
The bid specs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just modified just a little bit. I had an engineer come out and look at the roof to make sure that if we did a sheathing versus taking it off, that it would support. It wasn't, we have a steel structure underneath, so one of the things I will add is that we probably going to get bids and it probably won't be done this year. Because most of your roofing companies are busy into November and December, but we still need to do this project.
Right. Will that be detrimental if it can't be done this year?
At this point, no.
Okay. Anything, council?
Will the bid, if we get a bid, will it be acceptable for next year?
We probably are sustaining pricing as part of the bid spec, yeah. Make sure that the pricing is good until they can do the job.
Yep.
We usually put that in there.
Is the intent to go with that rubber roof or whatever it was that we?
Yeah, the high tension vinyl.
That's the
with
intent
arc
still?
factor. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got a 50.
The 50 year, yeah.
And there's a couple of companies that do it. One is out of Connecticut, and one is G&E Roofing, who already does all of our repairs and shoveling of our town roofs. So,
Are they willing to offer yet another bid?
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. And
50 year?
I believe it's 50 years. Yeah.
Wow.
We've already did this, what, 3 times?
We haven't bid it.
Well, they've
We've got
given us a-
pricing 3 different times over the years. So.
I'd be way up in my 80s.
Well, you can let them know that we have plans to do it.
Oh, most definitely. I've already been on the phone, so let them know that it's a plan.
It's real.
Is
It's
two,
real. Yeah.
is 2 weeks enough time for people to get bids together? I mean, we're in the middle
Yes.
of the construction season and people are on vacation and all those fun things that happen in the month of July.
If they're going to send, if they're not too busy, they'll send an estimator. If they're not interested in the project, they won't look at it. So that's, but we're not going to know unless we put it out there. So
And if you find it isn't, you can certainly extend a week or 2 if we need. That's a good
gives
question.
them an opportunity.
Anything else, Council? Eric, anything?
Nope, I'm all set.
All right. So let's go to a vote. I shall poll the council. Eric, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Brent?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So ayes have it. Resolution 23-64 passes. Let's move on to resolution 23-65, please, Catherine.
Resolution 23-65, resolved that the town council approve a renewal application for a liquor license for the J.W. Parks Golf Course at 382 Heartland Avenue, Pittsfield, Maine 04967.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
I move we adopt resolution 23-65.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you very much. Any discussion on this, council? Very well. Let's move right along. It says ready to vote, and I shall poll the council. We'll start with you, Eric.
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doc?
Aye.
Brent?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-65 passes. Let's do a little quicker. It's the last one, okay? Catherine, let's move on to resolution 23-66, please.
Resolution 23-66. That was quick. Resolved that the town council approve a renewal application for a special amusement permit for the J.W. Parks Golf Course at 382 Heartland Avenue, Pittsfield, Maine 04967.
Do I have a motion from the council, please?
Do I have to say anything?
Yes, I think you should. Quickly.
I move we adopt resolution 23-66.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, council? All right, very well. Eric?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Doc?
Aye.
Brett? Craig?
Aye.
I vote aye. Ayes have it. Resolution 23-66 passes. So, number 8, there are no discussion items, so we shall go to reports. Audience. Anyone in the audience have anything they'd like to bring up, discuss? Pete, anything? Donnie? Any extracurricular?
Actually, yeah, I just want to say thank the chief and their quick response the other day. We had some 8 or 9-year-old kids jumping off our bridge down here. It's the first time I've seen them do it in many years, but they were diving off the bridge. I called and within, I don't know, about 45 seconds, there was an officer there taking care of it. So they actually had a rope hanging, and one almost hung himself when he dove off. He got caught up in the rope. So appreciate it, Chief and the guys. They were right there. So we just had a discussion about it. Sue Niles has seen it, witnessed it on Pelham Bridge. So I do have signs, and I've ordered some new ones for down here, bigger and bolder, for jumping or diving off the bridges and the down those things. So hopefully that'll take care of it. If not,
They know
he's
where
our guy. He knows
We got a vote, or you got a vote.
Chief, anything?
Nothing other than the festival that we're putting on, the community festival, which is similar to the block party. Basically, police departments across the nation have been doing this since the 80s. It's a community event for the police and the community to interact and kind of be on the same level, where the police really do. We do most of the cooking, but these events, we're gonna have all kinds of stuff, and everything's free at these events. Bounce houses, games for kids with prizes and all that stuff. Been reaching out to businesses throughout the community and surrounding community as well to see if they want to take part in this event. So support would be great if you know anybody. So that okay. It is August 5th from 3 to 7.
Men's Park.
Men's Park.
All right, Chief, thank you very much, appreciate it. So I will go to council. Eric, we'll start with you.
I just wanted to recognize the chief for the bike event they put on this weekend. My kids didn't participate, but I saw there was a bunch of people down there that did. And I want to thank Donnie for the ditching he's doing out in West Pittsfield. That's all looking really good. And that's it. I think might need to do something with Zoom. I don't know what's going on with that, but I mean, the participation is kind of marginal. I don't know why it was asking me to dial in a phone number, and I didn't really have it. I mean, I tried that. And I don't know. It's dig into that a little bit, so maybe we can participate.
It's an update that just went through. Normally you don't have to do that, and it works fine. So the updates seem to come 3 or 4 times a year, Tuesday just before the council meeting, and this is the second one we've had. So we'll look into it. You can't find anything in the computer to fix, so we'll have to call Zoom.
Yeah, I didn't do the same on my computer, Eric, so it's across the board with Zoom, I think.
Okay. That's it.
It has bad timing.
All right, thank you, Eric. Jason?
Yeah, just good to see that we're making positive headway on some of these houses that are in disarray and properties that aren't looking so good. So that's good to see. Reiterate what Eric said. Thank you guys for all that you're doing in the community. It's being seen and appreciated, and that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you. Heather?
Just, same thing. Great to see a lot of community activities. Learning's had their grand opening this weekend on Friday.
Friday morning.
And hopefully we'll get down to one of the concerts on Thursday night, and I won't be on the tractor night, so we'll see. Lots of stuff going on, so it's good to see.
All set? All right, thank you, Heather. Craig, let's go to you, please.
I'm going to echo Eric's praise and thanks for the bike rodeo that was put on. I've been participated as a helper in one of those a number of times. I know that herding cats on a Saturday is not exactly the easiest thing to do, but great job with that. Saw the pictures on Facebook. You did a phenomenal job with that. I think my only question for the night, I do have something I'd like to kind of figure out where we're going wrong, I think, in some ways. It's come to my attention that there are potentially multiple employees, either, I'm not going to say being asked to, being allowed to, suggested to potentially work without compensation or provide time without compensation, as well as use their personal vehicle for town purposes. I don't see much in the light of mileage reimbursements coming across for us to pay, and I know those are mandated for us to have through our expense warrants. And I'd like to know what our policy is. I've kind of looked through it, and I understand that we're supposed to reimburse. It's a different rate than private sector. But if we do in fact have town employees, whether part-time or full-time, using their personal vehicle for town purposes, they need to be compensated. And regardless of whether or not it's in our budget, it needs to be a budgetary item, or they need to have a vehicle provided for them to do said job. So I know not something I'm going to get answers on tonight, not looking for it, but I'd like to have some feedback by our next meeting on what we do and how we handle that.
So we have an employee reimbursement form, which everybody has access to. And then once either somebody's gone on a trip, or if they go regularly, like I was submitting them like yearly, and after being criticized, I don't submit them anymore. And that may have drawn some people to, not submit them. But we regularly pay mileage. Every 2 or 3 warrants is a mileage request from different people when they go to training, when they pick up items, when they work with their vehicle. Now, I'm not saying that everybody does. There may be some people that choose not to,
Right.
or
So,
forget to do so.
so I would hope that no council has ever suggested to you that you shouldn't be compensated. If you use your vehicle for town purposes, there needs to be a request for expense paid. I mean, that's just, in this day and age, there's nothing for free for any of us, and I don't feel like that's fair to ask of any town employee, and shame on anyone. I mean, let me be clear. If there's anyone that has suggested that someone should not be reimbursed for their mileage, shame on them. That is absolutely criminal. So what I know is that there are some employees that are not being reimbursed, whether being asked or not, or volunteered or not. That needs to be enforced from the top down, that we take care of that and we handle these people accordingly. And I just hate to see our employees and citizens of this town not getting everything they're owed. I mean, we do everything we can when we come here as a town government to make sure that people are treated fairly, that we have the best opportunities here for everyone. And
When we do notices with the employee checks, this seems to be the best way to get information out. If we give a memo to the department head, who then posts it, not everybody looks at it. We can attach a slip when we do a couple of other slips that explains out what the policy is, and for people to make sure that they submit for their reimbursement and attach a sheet.
right, I just would hate. I think sometimes our conversations in these council chambers, when we talk about being frugal with our money, being fiscally conservative with our money, and trying to watch that can be misconstrued or passed along incorrectly, that we don't want them to be taken care of. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. We need to be able to take care of everyone. And, vehicles are not cheap. I'm searching for a truck right now, and I'm walking around my jaw on the floor looking at prices compared to what I would have looked at 3 years ago. And we need to take care of our people. Their personal vehicles are valuable to them, and they're valuable to us, and we need to take care of each and every one of them. So, if that's not happening, I think that we need to kind of make sure that that's addressed and fixed, like from this moment forward. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
You're referring to permanent employees, not volunteers.
Permanent town employees. Anyone that, even a volunteer, if we ask them to go to a store and buy something, I mean, if they got to run to Walmart, that's 14 miles. I mean, that's, total round trip. Most cars, that's a gallon of gas. That's $5 now. I mean, that's, but certainly current full-time employees that are routinely using a vehicle for town purposes, that's just, to me, that blows my mind. It's unacceptable. So,
Right.
thank you.
The only thing I'd like to say is, which everybody's touched on, is it seems like the police chief here is relentless in coming up with incentives and community uplifting programs, and you keep coming, amazing us all the time, coming up with new stuff. So it's very good to see a good outlook like that.
Have a good team.
Thank you. I like that.
Relentless was the right word.
Yeah. New ideas.
It somehow fits. No, please.
Just ditto with respect to what the chief has done, both from a staffing perspective and the quality of the people that are working for you. And you are truly leading by example. And I think that's what we need to have in town. That's it.
That's it? All right, I'll be as brief as possible. Just want a quick comment. Craig, not to get into discussion, but that would also go back to the department heads, using the people properly or giving the proper information. So
Absolutely.
that would be on the management level from Catherine to the department heads. And
Trickle down effect, that's right.
So the other thing is, thank you, Pete, Donnie, and Chief for spending your time here this evening. I know there are certain obligations, but certainly not a 9-to-5 job, so thank you. And I will close up, just a quick update on the search committee. We have 4 people so far that we will be considering for a second interview. We have another interview scheduled, probably the final one Thursday night, because the applications close this Friday on the 14th. The 4 that we have, possibly 5, I think are very valid and well-qualified candidates, and I think any one of them would do a very good job. We will be meeting Friday evening by Zoom to discuss the next step in the second round of interviews. So I'm very excited about the quality of people that we have. I'm very enthused about it, and I can't wait until we get a person here to walk around town and kind of look at this and make an offer. So I think we're very, very close. I'm not going to jinx it, but I'll tell you when I'd like to have it done. But I think from what we have in play, we're way ahead of schedule. So please take that to heart. I'm very enthused about it, and the whole search committee is doing a great job. Natalia Hall being the chair, she's doing a fantastic job. So that's all I have for this evening, and with that, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Do we have executive session or no?
That was on.
It's on there if you need it, but are we gonna have one or no?
I think it was just for the
It was in
search committee.
in
Oh,
case
good.
you need it.
Yeah. Placeholder.
Hey, Jason, that easement, that CMP easement, they have a work order number on the back. I have access to the system. I can look up that work order.
Well, why didn't you do that?
Well, I'm going to now.
You should have already had it done.
I don't have it.